Well, okay. What are we going to touch on? History and politics. Um, I like these moments as a historian, um, where American society is is forced to deal with violence, control, separatist division, and they cannot blame the usual suspects of the white supremacist or controlling demographics general narrative. Whereas it's always the the it's the immigrant that's stopping the poor white man. It's the black man that's taking the jobs. It's the women that's taking this. It's the gays that's taking that. It's the Mexicans that's doing this. It's always these groups that are used to divide since Bacon's Rebellion in 1676. The anti-miscegenation laws that resulted from Bacon's Rebellion in 1681, and the history of unions in the country as to where it was always a group. The Native American is taking your ability to get your own land. There is always the Native Americans getting casinos is drawing up the system from poor whites, and that's money that white farmers could be getting. There's always this bad group, that can distract poor whites from seeing. As what president was that said? Oh, Lyndon B. Johnson. Um, the best way to pick a poor white man's pocket is by giving him a black man to look down to. And he said, in fact, he will give you his money if you give him somebody to look down to. Lyndon B. Johnson. And that's really what the core of the economic system is this division between rich whites and poor whites. And poor whites, who's the majority of the population, have always historically been distracted with another group as to why the problems of the country are what they are. And that goes all the way until now. You have, if you look at the current administration, the problem was Black history, making people feel bad, the Black Smithsonian, sending immigrants out of the country. All of these things of Project 2025 has something to do with another group being the problem for poor whites, making poor whites feel bad, and making poor whites feel unsafe in their community. So we got to get tough on crime. We got to get tough on immigration because they're taking jobs. But when things happen like Charlie Kirk, white America has to face race, politics, ideology, separatism, violence within the white context. And what generally happens is it gets dismissed when even within the white community, it can't be broken as Democrat and Republican. They can't. It's just like January 6th. It's just like the assassination attempt on Trump. They can't ride this boogeyman to death of blacks, of immigrants, of people with alternative lifestyles, because it doesn't help their narrative. Now on my channel, that, you know, and things start to come up, like there's a conversation about the Confederate flag. Now, if there are some people who have deluded themselves in believing that the Confederate flag is an American artifact, that is just a sign of historical ignorance. That flag is as much an American flag as the Nazi flag with the swastika or the Japanese flag. When that was somebody America went to war against. That was a group that killed Americans. So people who are flying that flag in 2025, it's as logical as saying, I'm going to fly the Nazi flag, but to me in 2025, the Nazi flag means something different than it did in the 1950s or the 1940s. So in 2025, it doesn't mean the same thing. You can say what you want to. You have that flag up. People know the history of the flag, and they are going to connect you to the history of that flag. Not what you'd have made in your mind as to where it's a good excuse. So, calling it not the rebel flag and saying that's the battle flag of the battle flag of the Confederacy. Okay, tomato, tomato. That is the flag that fought against this nation. That is not a sign of American pride. Just like if I went and got the Japanese flag and said, well, no, that's not, or the Nazi flag, and said, no, that's not what it means to me. There is a constitution that went along with the Confederacy that stated how they felt about slavery and how they felt about the United States. So if you have endeared yourself to the rebel flag, Confederate battle flag, whatever you want to call it. Oh, and guess what? After the Civil War, the Confederate flag was to be put away and not flown again. Guess when the flag was flown again? After Brown versus Board of Education. So anybody who says that that flag does not have anything in modern times to do with racism. I'm just talking history. Remember, this is an academic channel. This is not a political channel. This is not an opinion channel. Everything I'm telling you is researchable. But these are the things that are coming out in our society today. And when I look at white America shuffle through this, because usually black people have been forced to be the conscience of America. Well, why is this wrong? What is it that you're complaining about? But now whites can't push this on black people. In fact, it's this narrative now that something is wrong with black people not caring about Charlie Kirk. Why is there this mandated sympathy that the black community is supposed to respond to communities that don't care about the black community. Same thing happened with the ICE and the Mexican immigrants, where they were calling for the black community to come forward and speak out against the immigration raids. Now, I'm not going to say that I feel the same way about the immigration raids that I do about Charlie Kirk, but I will say no groups come out to support black people when it's black folks. And the immigrant vote for Trump was very high. Now you voted for this person, and now he's putting your relatives out of the country. You brought that on yourself. Speaking historically, it reminds me of chickens coming home to roost, as Malcolm X said. So, where is this? Charlie Kirk did something really good. It holds up the mirror to specifically, I don't think the Democratic Party is any better. I don't think they're any more sincere. I don't think they're any, I don't think they have any more morals than the Republican Party. And a mirror should be held up to either one. But in this particular case, a group that is extremely critical and accusatory of people who do not align with them now is faced with what we are doing is not a good look. We tried to assassinate our president. A MAGA person tried to assassinate the MAGA president. No sense. The MAGA people stormed the Capitol to hang the MAGA vice president. Now, a MAGA person has killed one of the MAGA pundits. Now, why are we using the word assassination for a citizen? It's murder. What? How is this an assassination? I don't get it. I mean, I guess technically it would be, but in this time, we have people who are famous for nothing. And in the death of people, people traditionally overreact. To align Charlie Kirk with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Okay, let's just start off with the doctor. We have an uneducated person talking about opinions, and we have an educated person talking about American society. Two totally different things. One person is at the very least talking about white supremacy and separatism. Another person is talking about love and togetherness. Now, I have my own criticisms of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So I have videos on that. But somebody said he was the John Wayne of the Republican Party. Stop. If there is a John Wayne of the Republican Party, that's Trump. Trump is going down in history. Now, which side of history, we don't know, but he has affected pop culture. MAGA means something because of his branding. Whatever you think about MAGA, that is, that's part of the American lexicon now. So I'm I wouldn't dare try to qualify his existence or his death. What I will do is exemplify the culture within this particular party. And the other party is no better. But because they're not in this right now, the best thing they could do is just shut up and let Republicans try to talk their way out of this. You actually hear the MAGA people who were saying, oh, these are trans people that did it. These are radical leftists. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to hurt these people. We need to get them out of the country. We need all the way up to the president. Before they even looked into who did it. And now you hear them saying, we need to pray for these people. We need to pray. We need to, he's misguided. If that was a Black Lives Matter person, why is it white America has a sympathy for death over Charlie Kirk, but not Breonna Taylor, not Trayvon Martin, not Philando Castile, not George Floyd, and the hundreds of other Black people that were being shot in that really close time period that were not doing anything violent. They were unarmed. But then you can go, oh, well, he did drugs before. What's that got to do with the price of tea in China? In America, and that's the thing. Black folks can get killed in this country unarmed by the police. And white America, particularly MAGA, is looking for something to be wrong in the situation. But when this guy gets harmed, then they can automatically see that, we need to make some changes. I mean, it wasn't just that they have a difference of opinion. But with Black folks, they can't even see it. I mean, when there's Black folks, they can't even see it. Well, he was a drug user. He had done crimes before. Okay, well, this person went around and gave some very divisive speeches. He humiliated a lot of people, and he put forth some dogma that is considered harmful to a lot of communities outside of MAGA. Now, they can't even own that. They can't own that. So, he who is without sin. So if we cannot dissent without violence with white folks, why can we dissent with violence with Black folks? Why is it we can take people off of their jobs, immigrants, and ship them out of the country, but leave the business owner that hired them illegally, leave them in place? Why do we have this double standard? And why do we act like we just don't see it? There is a historic precedent. What I want you to do is watch the double tape of MAGA. How they're going to have to play this down, and I promise you, before Christmas, this is going to be gone. And that's unfortunate for Charlie Kirk's family. Now, I'm sure she's going to get all kind of MAGA deals, and I don't know how much she aligns with her husband's ideology. I would imagine she has to, because who would live with somebody like that if they didn't? But, she's going to have every MAGA job if she has the talent and fortitude. But I would say before Thanksgiving, they will have to move this. They would ride Charlie Kirk to death if it was a black person, if it was a person of alternative lifestyles, if it was a Democrat. They would keep this on the forefront of everything. Now they gotta move. They gotta move. So again, leave in the comments your thoughts. Hit the like button, and if I'm off, let me know.